Hello everybody, Sparkster1701 here, and we're going to take a look at a relatively obscure Guardian GoBot this time around. We're taking a look at Street Heat. Now, Street Heat was put out in 1985, and he would be discontinued more likely before the GoBots line did disappear entirely. Street Heat, unfortunately, is one of them that's relatively obscured because he really didn't make that many appearances in the cartoon at all. And aside from maybe appearing in the background in the comic book, he didn't appear there either. So we really don't get much to go on with him, other than the fact that he is one of the GoBots that was changed from his original toy. The original Japanese Machine Robo version of this toy was colored in blue instead of this red color that Tonka seemed to like the GoBots to be in. Plus, it also helped that the original toy also had a sticker on the hood to give the toy a flame job. Which, while that's a minor detail in unto itself, it still would have been nice to see that carry over. I've also read in various reports, I've yet to confirm it, but I have read various reports where in some countries he was released in black, which also would have been a nicer color choice than this ugly maroon red type color that Tonka seemed to enjoy. For some reason, Tonka liked the GoBots in red, so they kept remaking as many of them as they could in red. Unfortunately, the red just doesn't look good on a lot of them. Why mess with a good thing? And of course, this one's a little bit on the abused side, but this one wasn't one of mine from childhood. I never had Street Heat. Of course, a lot of fans grumble is the fact that a lot of his kibble is showing, but that's an easy to overlook thing when you consider when he was made. Of course, a big thing to point out is back here, the pipes. You can see one of them is chromed and the other one is not. So that's something to watch for if you're picky about that sort of thing. And of course, the engine appears to have been chromed as well, but it's wearing off a bit. All in all, this toy has certainly seen better days. Oh well, we can't help that. For articulation-wise, he had about what would have been standard for a GoBot of his size. You can move his arm at the shoulder all the way around. His legs can be moved at the hips, so he can do a full splits. And they can also be bent at the knees, but he bends at the side, so it's more for converting him or for standing squat in a hockey net. At any rate, let's get Street Heat here converted into his alternate mode. First thing we gotta do is we gotta pop his head back into the rest of the body, and then we can fold the body up, snap it into place. The arms we just gently push in at the shoulders, making sure they're lined up front. There's a little plastic catch that they snap into. That's perfect. And then the legs, you just bend and fold them up so they go up and under the body. Like that. And then there you have Street Heat in his alternate mode. They label him as a roadster on the card, but he apparently transforms into a Z28 Camaro. It's obviously been modified for racing, since he's got smaller tires on the front and some big tires on the back. So he's been modified for some drag racing. But since he's got some good-sized wheels on him, he ought to roll on this table real good. And that he does. Does pretty good. Overall, it's not too bad. I mean, yeah, I would like the other pipe to be chromed instead of looking black. But about the only thing that really also detracts from the vehicle's appearance is the holes here for where the arms are. That, unfortunately, does detract from the appearance of the vehicle. Even more so than the obvious seam lines that are on the hood of the car for it. So, unfortunately, car mode just, it loses it a little bit, unless you're not picky about that sort of thing. But again, that I leave in the opinions of all of you. You're all entitled to it. You're intelligent adults watching this channel. Or at least you better be. But now we get down to my thoughts. What do I think of Street Heat? Street Heat, unfortunately, without much to go on, we really have a hard time reviewing him. This is one of the major downsides between the Transformers and the GoBots. The Transformers included the tech spec cards, so we at least had some idea as to what kind of a job they did in their respective army. The GoBots never got these until it was too late, and even then, they really didn't tell us much. So unfortunately, we really don't know much about what Street Heat did. And unfortunately, like I had stated earlier, in other nations he was released in different colors. Why Tonka felt he had to be red is something that I won't understand. If you do enough searching on the internet, you will find the blue version of Street Heat out there. And you will probably agree with me that it looks a little bit better. I mean, even though it was a light blue color, it still looked a lot better. And for those of you who are fans of the GoBots, you probably will notice that quite a few of them were released in red, and when you know that this was a color that was changed from the original, you're kind of going to wonder, why did they go to the expense to do that when it really didn't help enhance the toy or make it sell any better? So, unfortunately, Street Heat here is going to be put down on the bottom tier, since we really don't know much about what he can do. The robot mode, it's okay, but it's not really going to impress anybody. And the car mode just has too many flaws in it that you can see. And unfortunately, with all the paint apps that were put on for the windscreens, you know that's going to get chipped off very easily. That and the chrome pieces take damage too easily, thus kind of dirtying the appearance of the vehicle. So, unfortunately, Street Heat's one of those that you can live without. At any rate, that concludes my review of the Guardian GoBot Street Heat. I hope you all enjoyed it. If you liked the video, drop me a thumbs up here on YouTube. If you're new to the channel, please hit that subscribe button down below to join our ranks. And ring the notification bell so you'll be notified when new content goes up. And also, leave your thoughts about Street Heat in the comments down below. This is Sparkster1701 saying I will catch you all later.